So we were pretty jazzed that we got to do the poster design for PechaKucka 40.
Yeah, all summer we've been trying to rack our brains like, what can we do to be epic to capture the moment of 40?
I mean, 40 is a big deal. I turned 40 this year, and PechaKucka turned 40 this year.
And then this big strawberry moon came over the harbor, and we had the idea. So this is it.
So you'll see a photo taken by John Galden of us in our studio. So we are Dos Bandidos, and the very quick version is 12 years ago we met, fell in love, realized we were both screen printers, and that we wanted to create art together. So we didn't want to fight over who would put their name first, so we came up with a team name. And we can't remember why we decided to create a fake origin story. We just did.
It seemed like a good idea.
Here it is, big, bold blasting. I think that no one's ever rocked the streets like we have. And we had we had no idea that we'd continue to create art together, but we feel really fucking lucky 12 years later to still want to.
Yeah, so my name is Will. I'm from the metropolis of Roundo, South Carolina. Yes, there's no reason to stop there. But if you do drive through it and go to Walterboro, do stop at Dairyland and get you a soft serve ice cream. That's about all that happens there. That's why I live downtown now.
So I'm from the college town, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and I grew up in the 90s, kind of during the heyday of the music scene. Superchunk, anyone? So there I am at the bottom with an ex-boyfriend, and so the house screen printer and designer Casey Burns, I was obsessed with him. Just like couldn't get screen printing out of my mind even before I knew what it was.
Do y'all know what screen printing is? Yeah, and if you don't, you probably know a couple of famous screen printers, Andy Warhol, Shepard Fairey, personal hero of ours. It's a technique from the 1940s, 50s. Everybody puts a different spin on it. Ours, we start off with pen and ink drawings. We take those pen and ink drawings, scan them into our old Mac that's like 12 years old on its last leg, put that in Adobe Illustrator, break out our layers, do our proofing of colors, and then when we're ready, we take those colors, we put them to our screens,
Right.
which are now stencils, and we start making prints one color at a time. It takes forever. But it allows us to make multiple images.
Right. So we think art should be affordable. Obviously, not every piece of art is affordable, but one thing that led both of us to screen printing separately and together is we're really process driven, and we wanted to create affordable art that was accessible to everyone. And so we draw inspiration from kind of everywhere, I guess. Some of it's our travel, some of it, clearly we draw a love letter to Charleston constantly. And that started about 7 years ago. We were on a trip to New Orleans, and they have some fierce city pride, like unbelievable city pride.
And we couldn't figure out why people in Charleston didn't have that pride. Maybe it's the hotels and the cranes going up.
So, yeah, but we're here. This is our home. We love it. So we started drawing a love letter all those years ago. And so another topic that we feel passionately about is non-traditional art spaces.
Because, like I said, we are trying to make affordable art, and we're printmakers. We're not going to be able to show at the galleries on Broad Street, so we had to find alternative means to show our art. And one of those means happens to be a 1972 Bronco that you can drop the tailgate on and pop up to a market.
It's also for rent, if anybody wants it for a photo shoot. So contact us. But seriously, pop-up markets have been kind of our bread and butter for 12 years. And I mean, a few of them, Thrifters and Drifters, Charleston Night Bazaar, and of course, this doesn't exist anymore. We just thought it was a good picture of us. But Crafty Bastards from years ago.
We don't look that clean when we're printing.
That's right. There's no ink in that screen, by the way, which is fine. But it's been vital to us continuing to get to make the small, some money.
So pop-up galleries are another big thing that we've been dependent upon. Gap Gallery this year was a huge success, thanks to Marie putting this on. This is one of our initial big pushes for in town is alternative art spaces.
Right. And then sometimes we take over the streets, and we're hoping to do it again real soon. This was our Spoleto show.
Spoleto for the rest of us up here in the upper end of town.
So we took over Line and Meeting Street, and we hung up art, and it was up for about a week, and the idea was that people could come and see it and take it, and they did. You know, it's temporary.
Obviously, it was a slow news day that day.
And we obviously cannot leave here without mentioning Jeff Kopish.
Yeah, Jeff Kopish gave us our first chance at an alternative gallery. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see it. It was incredible. You can now get a cup of coffee and a muffin there at Harkin.
Oh, and Josh Silverman, thank you so much for that, Jericho.
Jericho Advisors was a good spot for us early on, too.
So for years, City Lights Coffee was our main alternative art space.
This is where we got to experiment and
there's
learn
a
from
rotating
people.
art wall. It was amazing, and sadly it closed August of 2021 after 15 years.
Yeah, 15 years.
But we have really great news. So us and Greg Lampton Carr are opening up City Lights East Side, coming to 12 Line Street, very kind of, I don't know when, but soon, sooner than it's ever been. And our girl, Jessie, designed this first tote bag. And really, the reason why we want to have a coffee shop is, of course, we want to show art.
A community space.
But we want a community space. This is the layout. It's gonna have the classic City Lights bar, the rotating art wall, but there's gonna be a patio, and it's 1,000 square feet instead of 400. So,
Yes.
But
we wanted a safe space for people to have music, come and talk to each other, and
so this is what it looked like earlier this summer. It's a classic 1887s corner store at 12 Line Street. And we've been working with our architect, John Sullivan, since October 2021. So the BAR finally just passed us, so that's our big news. And now we just need Charleston Water to approve our sewer system. But by early 2023, we're gonna have a space to gather, drink delicious coffee, and imbibe on wine, and eat a fresh vegan and non-vegan South African focused menu.
thanks, y'all.
Thank you.